So I don't know about you, but I am so anxious to get started planting. I know I can't plant a lot of my outdoor crops right now. It's a little bit too early. We will be doing that very soon. Though within the next few weeks, we can start, within the next couple weeks actually, we can start our peppers and stuff like that. I also have something very exciting coming in. It's a new hydroponic system. I'll talk about it later on in the video. But today, we are gonna plant. Do you remember at the farm, we did lettuce bowls and herb bowls and stuff like that? I'm gonna do lettuce bowls today. We went to local garden center and purchased these long, kind of like window box type things. They've got the drain holes at the bottom. I'm gonna put these, I'm gonna grow the lettuce bowls and I'm gonna do onions as well in the other one. I'm gonna grow them under the lights in the house, so we'll be able to harvest lettuce all the time. With this, the leaf lettuce you just cut and it regrows. Now with this, because there is no tray underneath, I'm just gonna use one of these lids that come with like a takeout container, and I'm gonna place that underneath, and that'll just catch whatever water goes through. If you're watering so much that it's like pouring out the bottom, you're watering way too much anyhow. So, generally I would use like a seed starting mix or an all-purpose soil. I only have a little tiny bit of the seed starting mix left, but I do have a lot of the premium organic vegetable and herb mix. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the premium organic vegetable and herb mix at the bottom, and then I'll just top up the whatever I can with the seed starting mix, and that'll help my plants germinate. So let me get these filled up. I'll get the soil nice and wet, ready to seed, and I'll show you how I do this. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is plant the lettuce. It's gonna be backwards in the camera because my camera's turned around. It's just an organic growing, non-treated seeds for organic growing. This is an oak leaf lettuce. I'm going to probably just do one pack. I'm not positive. I'll see how it is when I spread it. We do eat a lot of lettuce, so it's not going to go to waste. I can share it with my family or whoever. You can use whatever leaf lettuce you'd like. I do have romaine. I'm not going to plant the romaine until my hydroponic system comes in, which we'll talk about later on, as I said. So right now I've already opened my other pack. I'm going to start with this. And what we're going to do is, the seed is very small. I think there's lots of seed in there. So there's the seed, and all you're going to do, you can do this so easy. It's so easy to do. And if you don't have this type of container, or you don't want this big of a container, you can go to dollars, like the dollar store, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, whatever you have around, Dollarama, and just purchase little round plastic bowls. Just make sure that you drill some drain holes in the bottom and you're all set to go. So what we're gonna do is just take the seed and just lightly sprinkle. And you don't want it packed, like you don't want it crazy seeded, but you do want enough in there so that you have a good crop. And so we're just gonna do this. Oh yeah, one pack will be lots. This is gonna give us a lot of lettuce. Okay, we're gonna go a little bit heavier because I still have another pack left, and I do wanna see how this turns out. Let's do it. We'll just go like that. Okay, and another thing I've done is I kept a little bit of soil off to the side, and I'm just gonna lightly cover, this is a little bit wet, but just lightly cover those seed. And I'm out of soil, so I don't have much to cover with, but it will work. It'll work. So like I said, this is going to go on my growing shelf under the T5 lights, which I'll show you when I put them in. So I'm just going to just kind of press them in. You know, don't be You don't have to be too fancy here. It's going to grow regardless. There. So I'm just going to continue packing this down and put it aside. And the soil is moist, so I'm not even gonna water again. On top of this, I'm just going to do like that. And you don't want to pack it down too hard, but you do want to push them in somewhat. And they're going to start sprouting. I mean, they will do fine. And I'm going to, I don't have any covers. I do have little covers that I use for the microgreens, but 2 of them won't fit over top. So I'm just going to use cellophane to put over top under the lights for now. I'm going to put that one aside. And then we're going to get on to the onions. Now with the onions, I make a trench. So what I'm going to use is I just have a little stick here. You can use a piece of bamboo, whatever. And I'm going to make 3 rows and then seed my seeds. I'm not going to sprinkle my seeds in. I'm going to seed them by placing them. So I'm just going to, what I'm going to do with this is just make like a little trench. You don't want to go too deep down. I'm going to make 3 rows like this. With onions, these are green onions. You should plant about 1 inch apart. I'm just going to do 3 rows. Oh, it's well over an inch apart. The spacing, or the row spacing. And I'll also do that with the actual onion seed. And I like the idea of having a deeper pot because that way your onions have a lot of room to root down. So these are just annual bunching onion. And again, you can grow these indoors all year round. And this is where it's hard to, you don't want to take your eyes off where you're planting because the soil is dark and so is the seed. So you can see how tiny these seeds are. And if you get a couple in at the same spot, don't worry about it. Just try your best to space them out a little bit. And you can thin them later on. Okay, so I'm just going to continue doing this and I will be right back to show you how I cover these ones. All right, so I have them seeded. I did go a little bit thicker than I was planning, but I can always thin them out, and instead of disposing of the ones I'm pulling out, I can transplant into another container, which I can show you that later on as well. And you don't have to, these can go outside when it's warm enough to do that. Right now it's pretty cold here. It's like minus 20 degrees Celsius. And it's going to be a while before we can plant stuff outside without a heated greenhouse. So to cover these, I hope you can see our trench here. And all you do is you bring the soil from the outer edge, the higher edge, and pinch it together and just continue on doing that. So I'm going to continue doing this, and then we will go and put them on the rack, and I'll show you my racks I have. Nothing fancy, just so it's going to work, and it's in a room with, there's no sun that comes through that side. It's like the north side, and we don't get a lot of sunlight through the window, so we have lights, and it's working. And I'll let you check out the tomatoes that we did a video on last week after we when we transplanted. And yeah, so we will be right back. All right, so here is the room that we have our 2 grow tables, tents. There is coverings for both of these. This one here we just purchased last week or the week before, and we purchased these T5 lights. So I have 2 on each level. What I didn't take into consideration with these ones here, I bought the 2-foot long, the 24-inch, and it fit fine on the veg trug. But this here, I should have went with 3 feet, but that's okay. I can order more or whatever. I can mix, I can move them up. I'll figure it out. So I have the lettuce at the top and the onions at the bottom. With the cellophane, like I was saying, putting it over, it just acts as a greenhouse effect. So it's going to keep the moisture in, it's going to keep the warmth in. And just give them water when you start seeing them drying out a little bit. So, I mean, check on them every day. The lettuce, however, I am going to go tomorrow. We're going into town and I'm going to get some more soil and top that up a little bit. So it's good for now. And then over here are the tomatoes that we transplanted, tomatoes and kale that we transplanted last week. And they're doing fine. I have a fan going. I've ordered a couple small fans just to get the circulation going. And you can see here, I have a little bit of browning on the tips. And I think what happened there was my fertilizer strength was a little bit too strong. So I won't do that again, but they're coming up nice and they're flowering, or they're budding still. And we have a lot of suckers. The suckers I'm not going to take off. I might take the odd one off and actually just put them into the soil and let them root like that instead of the seed. I will do some seed for outside, but, and the kale, it's all good. This guy here, I just topped him up with more soil, so I got to give him a little bit more water. He's a little dry. Little dry, but he's all fine. So let's go and talk about what I have coming up. So I want to tell you all what we have coming in. We purchased a hydroponic tower through NutriTower, and it's pretty amazing. I cannot wait. So with this tower, it's 5'7", so the same height as me, and 2 feet around, and it's going to sit right in our kitchen. So Dwayne and I are going to set it up when it arrives. Delivery is a little bit slow because they have so many going out. We're going to do a video right from setup, step by step, and from seeding to transplanting to harvesting. It's going to be so much fun. And it's you can plant 32, I believe, 32 different plants in it, and it's all gravity fed. It sounds amazing. I've spoke with both marketing people from the company, Lauren and Matthew, and yeah, it's so exciting. So Dwayne and I are going to do that as soon as it comes in. So stay tuned for that. It's I'm super excited, and I mean, I love the hydroponics. This, you can grow anything. You can grow, people have grown watermelon, cantaloupe, eggplant, cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, all the herbs, everything. So yeah, really exciting. So make sure you watch that video when it's up. Next video I'm going to do is, we're going to plant some basil, and I'm going to show you a little trick on how to get your germination and beautiful growth. It's a very simple trick to get the best growth you can in a nice basil pot. And then we can transplant that later on too. I'm just going to do small pot for now. And I'm not sure what else we're going to plant. I have a lot to plant. I'm going to start planting my outdoor crops. So all my peppers and stuff like that. I do have mini bell peppers that I'm going to be planting into the system that we're getting. And yeah, it's pretty exciting. So I'm going to put a video out probably on Tuesday, and you guys have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye.